TFU.
Welcome to another episode of Young Guns, a better looking version of Young Guns with Gav not here.
He's done the runner.
He's done the runner. Tommy Sheehan, how are we?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Nice to have you here. Fanatic of the Roosters, which is appropriate for our episode today.
It's good that we've got the best club of all here, Jordan. Jordan Swann, how are you, buddy?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me. I'd love to be here.
I had a phone call just before I got here. One of your old coaches, a good mate of mine, Blake Cavallaro, had you at SG Ball. Tell us, how was that?
Hey, he's the best. He made
Tell us the truth. It's Gav. He's a mate of mine. I'll go out with him. You don't have to lie.
No, he was really good. He's sort of one of the boys, so he sort of made trainings sort of fun for us, especially being young and coming to trainings after school and stuff. Like, you know, it gets a bit like, got training, fitness and stuff like that. But yeah, he really made the trainings fun for us, and even when we did con, he'll sometimes do it with us as well. So
he loves to being part of it, doesn't he?
He loves it. So it was good to have him and a few of the other trainers as well join.
But did he love doing it? Did he ever play touch footy or that with you and get involved?
Yeah, he tried to. But
how does the old boy go? He still thinks he's young.
He can still move. But I think he had to stop a few times with the boys running around. So that was good.
How did that SG Ball team go? Was it a good season for you boys?
Yeah, we started pretty strong. Had a few boys in there, Ronald Volkman as well.
Ah, right.
Nafahu White. Yeah. We had the twins, Lani and Moala.
Right.
Graham.
Big names.
Yeah, we had a few other boys. But it was a long ago, so can't remember much about it.
Yeah. He said that was COVID. He said there's a real stacked side. You guys were probably not those betting, but favourites to win the comp.
Yeah, we were definitely up there. I remember the game against Para at Henson Park. We everyone came out firing, and it was just a side that you wouldn't see in the SG Ball team.
Yeah.
But yeah, then COVID hit as well, obviously, so that was a bit unfortunate.
How's it been bouncing back? Like, you've been in the Roosters system since 14-15 after coming from the Dogs.
Yep.
How was it coming back from COVID, and then obviously you guys are going exceedingly well. Tell us about it.
It was a bit tough. Like, COVID was we sort of had a good SG Ball year, and then COVID hit, so played a few games at Flegg, and then COVID hit. I was probably playing my best footy then as well.
Yeah.
So I was really loving my footy back then, and then COVID hit, so it was a bit hard to train as well. But lucky, my uncle come back from France, from playing in France, so we did a lot of training then. So it's been pretty good.
And does your dad coach?
Yeah, he does. He coached the SG Ball team this year.
Yeah.
Right.
They were a bit unlucky. I think they lost in the quarterfinals. I can't remember. To Newcastle. And then, he's been up in Flegg as well. He can be a handful at times, but, you know.
I was going to say, how is it being the under dad?
It has its challenges as well, but it's really good as well. He really knows his stuff, so that gives me an extra edge on a few boys, but also, like, I love helping out the boys as well, so whatever information he gives me, I sort of try and relay it on to the boys. Yeah. That could help.
Well, I want to talk about you specifically quickly. Earlier in the year, actually, I don't know if you remember, he was my young gun. I can't remember what round it was, but I think you scored 4-something tries. You came down from New South Wales Cup, and you've had a few chances in New South Wales Cup this year, mate. What's the difference in level, I guess, between Flegg and New South Wales Cup? Is there a real difference that you can sort of see when you play?
In Cup, it's still a bit fast, but there's a lot of wrestle and technique. So in Flegg, you notice, like, there's a lot of bash, like boys running out, 1-outs and stuff like that and trying to hit people. Whereas Cup, it's more of like you focus on technique, getting that extra second in to play the ball down. And then, it's physical as well. But, it's more technique once you start going up into those older ages.
More wrestle.
Yeah, more wrestle.
Trying to slow the ruck
Yeah,
down.
because big boys, so you got to try and get, like us backs, we need to get a front on so that forwards don't run back as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you have the ball, you're basically winning the game.
Well, you've played a few different positions. Like you started with centre. Where do you see yourself now?
Still in the centre. After I went up to Cup for one game against the Dragons, came back, Dino sort of was like, we're going to give you a challenge to play in the back row. So I played a bit of back row. It's tough. I went from making 5 tackles a game to making almost 30s in my second game in back row.
It's amazing being just that one position in on the field and you're
exactly.
making an extra 25 tackles.
Yeah, so used to standing on that like edge and then have to come in, make a few tackles, then run back, try and make some carries as well to help out the middles. But it's good. It helped my fitness up a lot as well. My fitness was like so much better than when I was playing in the centres, and then when I got put back in the centres for a game or two, it helped so much.
I want to ask you about your junior footy real quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, we both went to Waverley, so I've got something in common there. Shout out to Waverley, by the way, for winning the premiership. Love to see that.
Love it.
But yeah, you went to Waverley, and I just want to know in your junior footy coming through, who are you playing for? And obviously you were at the Bulldogs in your club, and what position you played as well growing up.
So junior footy, I was at St George Dragons, which was in the Bulldogs comp.
Right.
Clemton Park, and then I sort of played development in the Bulldog system and then came over to Roosters for I think 1 year development, and then that's when we decided to move to Bondi United for a little bit.
Great club.
Yeah.
That's
and
your club.
then moved on to Paddington Colts to finish off that junior year footy as well. So played with a lot of boys there, and then I was at Waverley at the time as well, so that was awesome, life-changing school. So one of the best schools.
Good part of the world, isn't it? Yeah. So this year, you guys are obviously on top. 39 points. Look like you're going to take out the minor premiership.
Yep.
I have 2 questions for you. Who do you think's the team to beat outside of you guys?
Yep.
And how big a loss is Hugo Savala?
Yeah.
So the team up there would be probably Bulldogs as well. You can see they're starting to get their craft together, whereas the start of the year they sort of fell off a bit.
Yeah.
But now they've got a few boys back, Zach Montgomery, Leap Boy, that I also played with at Dragons. Then they've got Joash Papali'i come back.
Yeah.
Geordie's also a gun on the wing.
You've named all the names that played good on the weekend, we'll get into it soon. But
all those boys,
they're definitely building.
They're the team.
Yeah.
And how big a loss is Savala? Do you think you can win it without him?
I reckon we can still win. We've got a lot of young boys come through.
You got Braith Alexander in the halves there who's been playing fantastic as well for you boys.
Awesome. We had Jakey come in as well. He missed out on SU ball, so he was a bit injured. He got, I think, a stress fracture. I'm not too sure. Injured all SU ball, did a whole another pre-season, played 1 game, I think, in the Coast. And then he just come into the Flegg side and he's done his job since. So
nice.
We also have Cassius as well. That was an
So there's a bit of depth at the old
there's a lot of depth in our team. So
that's why you guys are on top of the ladder. I mean, you've been unstoppable all year.
Yeah.
It's been great to watch you boys. And I want to finally ask, who would you liken yourself to in the NRL? If there was a player that you watch on TV and you say, that's how I want to play, or that's what I want to model myself after, who would that be?
Probably Brian Tuttle. Like, I pride myself on yardage carries and trying to work my, sort of use his footwork, and he's
got a similar build to him.
not
wide as
short.
Tall.
So he's short and stocky, but he can run the ball. So I'll probably try and do my yardage carries like him as well. Justin Olam's probably a bit the same as well.
Yeah.
Both two strong players. Yeah. Very strong.
Joseph Swali as well. Yeah. He's huge coming out of our end. Daniel Tupper as well. No one does it better than him.
They miss him when he's not there.
Yeah, when they kick in that left corner, he's always breaking a tackle or finding his front.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of players that I could sort of base myself.
You like those edge players.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, give us your wrap of the week.
We'll go quickly into it. We're going to talk about your game first that you were off the bench for. You were in the number 4 jersey. Roosters versus Manly. You boys got the win, 16-8. It was a tighter contest than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Give us the opinion of that game and why it was such a tight contest.
We started strong. We're finding little wins everywhere on the field. But then we sort of lose momentum so they did a good kick in the corner. We sort of got stuck there. They were starting to win the battles. They had the right winger, I can't remember his name. His yardage carries were unreal. Smallest bloke on the field, but ran like he was the biggest. So
Yeah, wow.
He was awesome.
Their spine's been very dominant, as we've been saying in recent weeks. Hopper at fullback and Harrison Wilson in the halves too.
They're missing a lot of players as well.
Yeah, right.
So, but we just miss out on opportunities. We don't really, we haven't been, finishing it like we would.
Yeah, you haven't been putting the points on like you were before.
Yeah, but that comes with like new spine week in, week out. But we're slowly coming together. That's the best part about footy is that we're on top, but we have so much to improve as well. So, it's been good.
Exciting time.
Cool, awesome. All right, we'll get into it. Bulldogs 36 to defeat the Rabbitohs 14. Despite being far from perfect in this game, the Dogs have put a number on a struggling Bunnies side. The tone for this,
I love that.
Yellow boy.
Yeah, the tone for this match, it was set early after a long-range effort by Jordy Mazzoni on the wing, who's been prolific in the try-scoring charts. It was an uncharacteristic error by Jai Gray that set up the try for Jordy to run it through. And Joash Papali'i, who's another name you mentioned, who started in the State of Origin under-20 side, he's been magnificent, and he had another magnificent game in this one, playing at fullback, setting up tries and scoring one of his own through some good support play.
I'm just looking. South look like they're playing snakes and ladders. They started at the top and they've just been working their way
They've
down.
gone from this team who, if you remember earlier in the year, that they were beating sides like Penrith, and they were beating. I don't know if they would have played you boys. I don't know how close the contest was. I can't remember fully, but they'd be this bogey team who would just beat teams out of nowhere, but now they're just getting pumped every week, and it's sad to see. Oh, well, I don't know if you
It's
think
not sad at all.
but it's been tough for the Bunnies, and the Bunnies' defence, they just couldn't hang with the dominant Bulldogs pack, headlined by lock Zach Montgomery, who's come back and he's been amazing for them. So he scored 2 for himself in that game.
Wow.
He was the man of the match for that for me. So
Yeah,
Great
Joey
ball,
Nora
Bulldogs.
is a big loss for the South.
Yeah.
I think he was a big key as well, just directing the boys around the field.
100%.
He was probably their key player this year.
They've looked a bit lost without Joey Nora
Yeah,
there.
The coach did the same thing.
They've brought bunch of different halves in. They had Hawkins there on the weekend, who's come up from SG Ball, and they've sort of just tried to chuck people in there. And it's tough times for the Bunnies. We'll see how they go from here. I want to talk about this game. Raiders 14 defeat the Tigers 10. Raiders, who were considered earlier in the year as a lower tier team, have made a late resurgence up the table. They're now in the top 8 after another win, and this brings them to 5 wins on the row in a row. Yeah, so that they've come out of nowhere. The Raiders. Toby Thornburn, who had another crack at hooker after last week's strong performance, had another great game, giving speed out of the rucks for his Raiders forwards. A couple brain fades in defence from the Tigers was enough to give this red-hot Canberra side the win. And the Raiders, they play the Sharks this weekend, giving them another chance to prove a lot of doubters wrong. So I'd love to watch that game and see if the Raiders can keep going there. It's funny because they've been on the bottom of the ladder all year, and out of nowhere they're in the top 8 after just a couple wins. So it shows you how close this comp is at the moment. It makes for some great viewing as well. So yeah.
They've always been good, the Raiders. They've always been good. There'll be times where they fall off a bit, but they're strong. They don't give up.
Yeah,
which is a good thing. I remember when they versed us at Wentworth Park, they almost got us as well. They scored a few late tries, but with the side we have, we sort of trust the system and got there in the end. But yeah, they're a great team.
I think after they had a very strong SG Ball season, I think they've had a lot of graduates from that team coming in, and they're looking strong at the moment. We'll see.
Making a late surge.
We'll see what happens. And here's my main game of the week. Eels blow the Dragons out of the water to claim important mid-table win. The game started off terribly for the Dragons after a wayward pass was cleaned up by Eels winger Ethan Martin and taken in for a try in the first minute. And after that, the Dragons looked pretty rattled. It was a big scoreline. After that Dragons era, it was going all the way of the Eels, with strong performances coming to the likes of Matthew Arthur, who's Brad Arthur's son. And in particular, Ethan Sanders, who was another player that starred in the under-20s New South Wales side. He had a great game. Sanders, he put in a little chip for his winger to score right in front of Brad Arthur, who can be seen on the camera there. So we might see him in the NRL one day. He's a freakish talent. But Richard Penasini as well, who I would assume assume is related to
Yeah.
Will
Will
Penasini.
Penasini,
He
yeah.
had a cracking game as well. The Dragons' defence didn't know how to deal with him at times. Penasini ended up putting his outside winger over twice in the space of 5 minutes. So he had a freakish game. It was a massive win for them with their mid-table rivals, and now they've gone ahead of the Dragons to keep them in the race.
Just out of that, so out of the bottom 8, who's the team out of like the bottom 8 that could maybe make a late surge?
Raiders, obviously.
Raiders.
I can't remember who else is on the bottom.
I like the look of Manly, even though you boys,
Manly
gave it to
will
them.
be good when they have obviously their
They
players.
haven't got
come
many
back.
games left
No.
to really make that 8. They're sitting there on 10.
Still the Storm are sort of in there still as well.
Yeah, they're still hanging on.
Yeah, they're
I'm pretty
hanging on,
sure, yeah.
falling away a little bit, but they're still
Yeah.
in there. It's great viewing, seeing this comp, just how close, if you look at the table, how close the scores are. I mean, really, even the Knights who are dead last, they could come out of nowhere. And
I think there's like 2 points in between every
100%.
team from that
Yeah.
bottom.
From the bottom part.
Yeah.
All right, so the last part of the show, tell us, who's your young gun?
I said Liam, obviously, before from
Liam
Penrith.
Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got to give it to my teammate, Tavita Schuster.
Yeah.
He's been unreal. This is his first year of league as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He played Union back in Auckland, so he's from the Hurricanes.
Yep.
So he's come down. So this is his first year learning league, and he's been doing he's been gun ever since. He stepped on
What
that
position
field.
does he play?
Centre.
He plays center wing, but they put him on the wing because we've got a lot of centers as well. So yeah, he's been awesome on that wing as well.
He had one game there. He was my young gun where he scored I think 4 tries and a few flick passes for assists.
Wow.
And
Just that
he's a
typical
freak.
Union player, always
Always
offloading.
looking for an offload, tip on.
Yeah, he's got good footwork as well. Strong for his size as well. So he's been good.
We'll have to get him on one day.
100%.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, well, thank you, Jordan. Thanks for coming on.
No,
Thanks,
thanks for
mate.
having me.
Appreciate it.
That's another week of Young Guns. Don't forget to click subscribe, and we'll see you next week.